how much of the pan have we sold? Michael and Natalie are selling brownies in square pans at the bake sale. Their teacher, Mrs. Smith, wants to buy 1/4 of a brownie pan that is currently half full. Use a model to represent how much of the pan they sold to their teacher. So here's a situation where we will be using multiplication, and that's because we are finding part of a part. This 1/4 represents a part, so that's 1 out of a total of 4 equal pieces. If this was a whole, it would be 4 out of 4, so I know this is a part. And 1/2 is also a part because if this was a whole, it would be 2 out of 2, but I only have 1 of those 2 pieces. So I have part of a part. I know that I have to multiply to find out how much of the pan they sold to their teacher. So let's start by using what we know. We know that they have a square pan and that it's half full. So to represent that it's half full, okay, I'm going to just simply cut it in half. And that denominator 2 tells me I'm going to have 2 equal pieces. Move this over so it's a little more equal. 2 equal pieces, and now I need to shade in just 1 of those pieces to represent a half. So here is half of my brownie pan. So what's in brown represents the brownies that are currently at the bake sale, and the white part is empty. There are no brownies that exist there. So now the teacher, Mrs. Smith, wants to buy 1/4 of this brownie pan. So how do I represent that? Well, if I look at the parts of my fraction, the 1 represents what I have, and the 4, my denominator, tells me how many equal pieces. So I have to split this into 4 equal pieces, but I'm going to go horizontally this time. So here's a cut in half, and then I'll cut each half in half so that I get 4 equal pieces. Here we go. Now, to represent 4 equal pieces, well, here are my 4 equal pieces, I need to represent one of those. So I'm just going to shade in one of these rows. Now I can really shade in any one of these 4, but I'm just going to stick with the top one. So what does this all mean? Well, I started with half of a pan, and then the teacher bought 1/4 of that pan. Well, how much did the teacher walk away with? This cross section here tells me how much the teacher was able to get. So it's 1 piece out of a total of, well, how many equal pieces are in this pan? So if all of like these little marks were cuts in the pan, how many brownies would I have to sell? Well, ideally, this is an area model. I have 2 going down and I have 4 going up, so 2 times 4 gives me 8, or I can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 equal pieces. So this represents how much of the pan they sold to their teacher, 1/8. Okay? Now here, actually, it represents our multiplication problem as well. We're taking 1/2 and we're multiplying it by 1/4 to get 1/8. So here you can see I have 1/8. That is how much of the pan they sold to their teacher. So by multiplying the denominators, the 2 and the 4, that gives us the number of parts in the making of this whole here. Okay? So this brownie pan model represents us multiplying our denominators, right? So 2 times 4, and here I have 2, represented down here, 2 at the bottom, and 4 over here. That's my area model. So 2 times 4 gives me my 8 equal pieces. The 1 is my cross section. That represents how much of the pan the teacher gets to take home, which is 1/8.